Welcome to episode 5 of Buckle Up Betties. Gosh, Betties, I hope you guys have been doing okay. It's been a while. I don't know what happened to me in like the month of July. It was just like my brain said, that wasn't a sound effect. I can do fancy things with my mouth. Okay, that sounded sort of dirty. I didn't mean to say that. This is not that kind of podcast. The E is not for everyone. It is for explicit because I am known to drop a couple of four-letter words. Anyways, if you're not following us on the Facebook page, you need to go to the Facebook page to check out this video that I'm talking about. So I'm actually located in Alabama. And there's this video that started going viral from my hometown. This guy is like hanging on the side of this SUV or truck, and as it starts to, it's just like driving down the road, and he's just like hanging on to it. And when it sort of slows down to make this turn, he jumps off of it and starts stabbing one of the tires with a knife. Like, it's the most completely psycho, out of control thing I've ever seen. And then he just casually walks across this gas station parking lot like there's nothing happening. But the crazy thing is, so you watch it the first time and that's what you see. And then you watch it the second time and there's like this blue car. It's like the people that are filming, there's like a blue car between them and the stabby guy. And this blue car gets over to make a turn and something pops out and slithers away out of the trunk. Like, I don't know what in the name of Area 51 it is, but it definitely looks like something from Men in Black. Like, if the car had been cooler, I would have been convinced it was like a government vehicle. Or maybe the fact that the car was sort of nondescript and older means it's a government vehicle. I'm not sure. Either way, I'm 100% sure it was some sort of alien critter that went sliding out of there. I don't think it was a snake. It was not long enough to be a snake. It was sort of fat. It literally looks like something off like Harry Potter or Men in Black or something crazy. So go check out that video. Let me know what you think. If you know what it is, tell me, because I want to know. Other Betties want to know. It's a crazy thing. So let's talk about something that maybe it's because I'm 37 and I don't totally get like all of like the sexy selfie culture. I grew up when you had a Polaroid was the most instant. The Polaroid instant film was like the most instant picture you could get. You know, you would always buy like the little Kodak throwaway cameras for stuff, and you'd have to wind the thing to be able to take the next picture. And when digital cameras came out, I mean, we thought like that was it. This was like completely revolutionized. No one ever thought about having it on your phone and it being so instant the way that it is. So when these young girls take these sexy selfies, number one, how long does it take you to take a sexy selfie? Like, there's no way you're getting that in one shot. And if you are, eat a cheeseburger. Like, I don't know what to say to you. Like, I don't understand. Number two, how do they do, like, where they, I'm in trouble. I kicked the mic. I'm so sorry, Skip. Don't kill me. Skip's waving his hands at me. He's actually not. He's sitting here staring at me like I've lost my mind. Anyways, I don't understand, like, the sexy selfie when they sort of, like, open their mouth and it's, like, very suggestive. Like, when I try to do that, I look like I'm going, duh. Like, I don't understand how they do it. And so then at first I thought it was, well, it's because my lips are a little thin or something like that. But I really don't think it is. Like, I think I've sort of, like, lost that part of myself that feels the need to, like, to take a sexy selfie. And this all got me going because I've been trying some new hair products recently. So I'm following these new beauty bloggers, and I saw this beauty blogger on my Facebook page, and she had an ad for a new hair straightener, and she was literally making the sexy lips with the hair straightener up to her lips. Number one, that's not how that works. That's not what that product is for. Number two, I hope she remembered to turn it off. Burn the shit out of your lips. And number three, why does she have to make sexy duck lips at a hair straightener? Like, are we really to the point now that that's what that looks like and that's what sells? I mean, it must be because she has like hundreds of thousands of followers and sells tons of straightening irons. And I just don't understand though. I'm like, can somebody just, show it to me or show me like a before and after her hair. Why does she have to look like she's about to give oral to the hair straightener? And also, why would you do that? Why would you give oral to a hair straightener? That is, again, not how this works. And I can't get my head wrapped around it. I don't understand. It like literally drives me crazy. It blows my mind. I feel like it's because I'm in this different phase of my life, I guess now. And I don't want to think that part of my life is gone and over and that I like don't care what I look like. But I bought 2 pairs of sweatpants today, so maybe I don't care anymore. But I don't think I have ever cared enough to make sexy lip face at a hair straightener. And if you make a sexy lip face at a hair straightener, I'm not going to lie, I kind of want to see it because I want to laugh at you. Anyways, some of you guys know, some of you guys don't know, I invented a product called Alchemy. It's a jewelry sealer. You spray it on like your jewelry. It keeps your jewelry from tarnishing. It keeps the jewelry from turning your skin green or making you itch. So like the number one reason that people buy Alchemy is they can't wear earrings because their ears itch and swell, and this product stops that from happening. It's on Amazon, Etsy, alchemyspray.com, 500 stores across the United States. It's a really cool product. You just spray it on, let it dry, can't see it, feel or smell it. Anyway, so Alchemy has sort of what launched, this second phase of my career, being on Home Shopping Network, getting back into coaching and consulting, starting a retail incubator. And before I get too far into Alchemy, I want to tell you all about when I first launched Alchemy, my granny, and I can't really say she's my sweet granny because she is mean as a snake. And I can say that because she doesn't know what a podcast is, so she can't find me and murder me. She's like 100 pounds soaking wet, and it's like 50 pounds dynamite and 50 pounds Southern Baptist. She's brutal. So brutal and savage. You have no idea. Anyways, Granny's been going downhill for the past few years, but when I launched Alchemy back in 2014, 2015, we were taking her back from Thanksgiving, and she said, "Ashley, you know how I remember your product, Alchemy?" I said, "No, Granny, how do you remember it?" She goes, "Well, I remember it because Alchemy rhymes with Applebee's." Anyways, so if you have a hard time remembering the name of my product, Alchemy, you can just remember that Alchemy rhymes with Applebee's, and that's a Hilma-ism. Hilma Jean. That's a Southern name for you. Anyways, I say all that to keep getting the microphone. Sorry. I'm probably not mentally stable enough to do this podcast tonight. I'm really tired. I don't know about you guys, but there's something going on. I don't really follow like the pools of the moon and astrology and all that shit, but there's something going on because I feel super off. And I've had a lot of friends on Facebook and Insta tell me lately that they feel like a little off this past week or two. So if you're listening to this and it's beginning of September and you feel a little off, Betty, I got your back. I'm there with you. We'll start a club called Betty's Got Back. Dun, 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 dun. Anyways, so when I started Alchemy and I was going to market and I was trying to tell people about it, no one had really heard of a mass-produced product that was an end consumer product. So a lot of companies might treat their jewelry with a different sort of UV coating or something like that, but it wouldn't be for an end consumer use. And so here I am sort of starting this new slot of product, of gift product, of something that you could sell in any kind of store really. And, it was really hard to sort of sell. And it was so important to me to have Alchemy be separate from me, the entrepreneur who invented it. I thought it was really important for Alchemy to sort of be its own brand outside of me so that the value of the brand could sort of be sold and could be separate from me so that maybe one day I could build it up big enough and sell it off for whatever that would look like. And I really, truly thought that was great until the more I went to market and the more customers I met, the value of Alchemy to them was doubled when they knew my entrepreneur story. And so the motivational piece for this Buckle Up Betties is about you as a person being a brand. It was really amazing to me how many of my customers would even just buy Alchemy just because they liked me. And that didn't necessarily surprise me from a sales standpoint, because people want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. Like, even if cost is the same, even if your price is a little bit higher, people want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. Like, think about it. Why do people love to go to restaurants where they know the manager? Why do people love to go to stores where they know the owner? People love that feeling of connection and of importance and of feeling like they belong to something, or that they have the inside track. People really do love that. It's why millennials really sort of thrive on things that have like an exclusivity feel and things like that. So anyways, I found that the more I made Alchemy's story about me, the higher the sales went. And so it's interesting how, as inventors, as entrepreneurs, as business people, as mothers, daughters, sisters, girlfriends, husband, whatever that looks like, whoever you are, I think we can sometimes devalue our brand because we don't think our story is important enough. And we tend to try to write a story that is palatable for whoever it is that we think needs to hear it at the time. Well, sometimes your story is your story, and sometimes people need to hear it whether it's palatable or not. And so I had an interesting thing that happened to me. I was accepted to a leadership initiative, statewide leadership initiative. I'm really not totally sure how I got in, other than I had already been on Home Shopping Network. So I think there might have been a big fish, small pond celebrity factor there, because when I was reading everyone's bios, I was really like, okay, I really shouldn't be in this class, because, everybody graduated sigma cum laude from the 4-year institution, and they, perfect beach home and 2.4 children. And I was like, no, girl, that ain't me. And apparently when they asked for my bio that day, I was really feeling myself, and I didn't send like my super professional bio. I sent my speaking bio. So I travel and do motivational speaking, and I do like educational talks on, whatever business thing that people want me to do on. So the beginning of my speaker's bio says, with the brain of a mad genius, the taste buds of a 7th grade boy, and the spirit of a toddler who has drank an entire Mountain Dew, Ashley Morrow has seen it all and remembers most of it. Betties, I can tell you that when our book came out that had everyone's bios in it, my heart immediately sunk to my feet. I was like, I have made a mistake. This is the class that everyone who goes through these classes, they look for future governors out of. They look for future community leaders. These are the people who serve at the state level. I mean, this is a really big honor to be in this class. And here I am sending in stuff about taste buds of 7th grade boys. And I was really sort of mortified. I called my mentors. Poor Skip, my fiance, just... he got probably more than he bought for that night, having to listen to me complain and worry and moan and think about it. And even though that's me, that's who I am as a brand, and that's what I'm about. I started my business because I wanted to have a little fun. I started my business because I knew I had something I could offer, and I could do it in a way that was compliant and different, and I could make it feel a certain way. And yet, when I stacked myself up against all these sort of, suit and tie professionals, I did not feel like I measured up. And so the night before, when we're traveling down for this event, I'm looking through everybody's bios again, and I'm like really upset, like I'm sick to my stomach. Next morning I get up, I go to our opening session, and a VP of a huge company in Alabama gets up. He is the president of like sort of the parent Alabama leadership, and this is the sort of like the junior leadership initiative. He gets up and says how important this class is and how competitive this class is. All those things I've told you guys. We look for future leaders out of this group. This is the connection that you've worked your whole life for. And I'm sitting here thinking, oh, this is some skull and bone shit, but okay, I'm in for it. I'm ready. Let's do this. And he said, and I have just really enjoyed looking at y'all's resumes and looking at your bios, but there was this one bio in particular. Is Ashley Morrow here? And my heart had simultaneously quit beating and started beating really, really fast. And so I raised my hand, and he turned to me and he said, Queen Bee, I have wanted to meet you since the day I read your bio. Have you guys read her bio? And proceeds to read my bio to everyone. And the lesson in that is that I really forgot, as a coach, as a business consultant, as somebody who does this for a living and teaches people how to brand themselves and how important they are as a person, I had forgot those lessons for myself. And I think it's easy for us to do because sometimes it's hard to step outside of yourself and to decide if what you're doing is effective. And if you can't decide and you need a coach, I am a coach. I know some good coaches. Everybody needs a coach. I'm lucky. I have some great coaches. But I think it's really important to be able to step outside of yourself and see the value that you are as a brand. You know, when he got done talking, he looked at me and he said, that's what we're looking for, because it was different and it made you feel something different. And it was hard for me to understand, probably going into it, that I didn't have to do the status quo. That is my brand. It's why I started my business, and I had completely forgotten. And yet my brand, I hope, is unique. And I hope that when people come and contact me, they feel a little bit better than when they did. And I hope they feel motivated. And I hope they feel pumped. I got a phone call today from a Betty's listener who told me that he has been listening to the Buckle Up Betty's podcast, and he has gotten so motivated and so pumped that he went and started his own business. And Betty's, I can tell you something, that is like the ultimate compliment to me. Like, I hope that if you met me or heard me speak or you listen to this podcast, that you think, well, hell, if that bitch can do it, I can do it too. That doesn't make me feel bad about myself. That's how I want you to feel. And you deciding what your brand is everything about you. And it's broken down into some segments. One, what is the impression that you want to leave behind with people? And then how do you want people to feel? So I always sort of wonder when people look at me, like, when they look at me, do they think that girl looks like she's got money? Or do they look like, nah, she looks like she struggles a little bit? You know, decide how you want people, that first impression, to feel, and then decide how you want them to feel around you and build everything around that. What are the things that are important to you? Honesty and ethics are very, very important to me. I've worked for healthcare companies that had been rated by the federal government. That's why I left, because I saw the writing on the wall, and I'm not going to work somewhere who's not compliant, not doing things by the law, and really with sort of healthcare ethics that we face. And that's why I started my own healthcare consulting company. And, you know, those things were important to me. And then what became important to me was doing something that was really fulfilling to me. And so what has been fulfilling to me is working on alchemy. So alchemy is not a life-changing product, but alchemy is a life-enhancing product. And the people that I've got to meet, and the people who tell me, you know, I've not been able to wear jewelry with years, and now I feel like my outfit's complete and my look is complete, and I just feel, you know, so much better because I feel so pulled together. That means something to me. And then those conversations turning to, you know, I have a business that I'm trying to grow and get in there and help them do it and help them find the confidence to do something different. That is 100% what my brand is about. So, Betty's, I want you to think about what your brand is about. And your brand doesn't have to be about a business. You know, maybe you're a stay-at-home mom, and maybe you have a circle of influence with other moms, people you go to church with, people at your kids' school, your husband, your friends. You know, what can you do within that sphere of influence to, you know, inspire people, to motivate people, to be the listener, you know, to have a brand that people can look at and say, I love how I feel around that Betty. Your brand doesn't have to be about your business. It can be just as much about who you are as a person. And then if you want to be a business, how do you take that and monetize it? And that's one of the things I love doing as a coach, is teaching people how to do that and how to sort of embrace what that looks like. And so it has been an interesting past couple of years for me, sort of realizing the value of authenticity and realizing the value of sort of this real talk, not really real woman, but just sort of this feeling of, I know that if I have a conversation with this person, I'm going to hear some hard truth and I'm going to hear some things that are awesome about myself. So find your brand, live that brand, don't doubt that brand, evolve with it, change with it. And Betty's, you will be better off for it. You will personally be better off for it. If you're a business owner, your business will be better off for it. Even if you don't own a business, maybe you work for someone and you're trying to climb the ladder or you're happy where you're at, you will have a much more profitable, happy, lovely life and work time if you can find that brand and define it and really live by that definition and what those goals are. Anyways, Betty's, I think I am out of time. Gosh, I appreciate you guys tuning in. And I promise, I'm going to make a promise to you right now that I'm going to do my damnedest not to go so long in between podcasts. Although September is crazy for me. I have 2 speaking engagements out of town. And, well, Betty's, I have a big, huge, fat engagement party come September 21st, which I'm super excited about. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And hopefully I'll remember it once it's all said and done. All right, Betty's, thanks for tuning in. And we will catch you on episode 6. Goodbye.
Gotta climb to the top, but we're never gonna stop. When the low, yeah, we going high.